Leila Tomasone. Thank you for watching. I am love stylist and marriage alchemist, also known as a relationship mentor. And I have my client, Daisy.
Hi.
Hi. So as women, we really need to share our stories, but I feel like we don't always get the best opportunities to do that. So you've been through it and you're going through it. We're kind of midway through your journey. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it would be best if you could share with us, and thank you for doing that. So how did you find me? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So one, I think it's really amazing that I'm actually at a point where I can share my story. So I've been working with Leila for almost 2 months now. And so the way that I found you is actually on Twitter, funnily enough. Someone had tweeted out something about how if you're not vulnerable, you can never find true love. And that really resonated with me because that's something that I've been struggling with, how to be more vulnerable with men and just in my relationships in general. So I commented on that, and that caught Leila's eye, and we started communicating, and I decided to work with her. So work with you.
Yeah, so it's like divine timing, right? Just happened to work out. And so you mentioned it was like 2 months ago or so. So how did you make the decision? It's kind of a big time and energy and financial commitment. How did that happen for you?
Yeah, okay. So like I said, my thought process at the time, I knew that I was kind of struggling with, my romance life, and I knew that I had this issue with vulnerability. And so 2 months ago, my mind was racing. I was experiencing a lot of anxiety because I knew my birthday was coming up. And I was thinking to myself, what have I accomplished in this year? Have I gotten closer to my goal of, really finding the right guy for me, getting married, being able to start a family with him? And so a couple different things were kind of going through my mind at, like the birthday, milestone coming up.
It's your birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, my birthday's tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
So yeah. So a lot of different things were running through my head. I think as millennials, it's kind of hard for us to really gauge what we should be doing, when we're supposed to be hitting different milestones. And so I had a lot of friends who were, they live on their own or they were buying property. And I felt like, okay, well, maybe I should do something like that so I don't feel like I'm falling behind. But in my heart, I knew that the real thing that I wanted was, just to get married. And it seemed so dumb to have that goal. It wasn't like a career goal. It wasn't this big thing, but I knew that's what I wanted. And so communicating with you after we had that initial contact, one thing that really resonated with me was you saying I gave myself permission to want to be married, and to accept that desire. And I'm like, wow, she gets that, because everyone else around me was like, whatever, just focus on your career, it'll fall out of the sky one day. So I figured, all right, so the investment in coaching was a lot lower than, me going out and renting down in South Florida. It's super expensive. Me putting down money on a condo. So it just made more sense, and it was more in line with what I actually really wanted. So.
Right, you're living more in alignment with your goals, and that deserves a lot of credit. Yeah, a lot of credit. And I remember that first time I met you, and so this is just jumping in my head as you're talking, that you said you had issues with vulnerability, and you just made me laugh. You're so funny, and you had such a bubbly personality. I was like, this is gonna be super easy. This is not the walled off cold person that. I think you had that concept of yourself.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I remember when we were pitching the program. So for everyone, I'm doing this Get the Ring program. So it has this guarantee that I'll get an engagement ring within a certain period of time. And so I was just thinking to myself, she is in for a conundrum here. I don't know why she's guaranteeing that I'm going to get an engagement ring. But it's funny that you were thinking, this is going to be easy. Because I was thinking,
yeah, because you're so beautiful and bubbly. It's that's not, we're good. We'll be fine. So tell us what your relationships and your mindset were like before we started working together. And what you wanted in terms of the relationships and the mindset you were looking for, and how did that change?
Yeah, so I would say when I started working with you, I had a very adversarial position with men. I felt like, I'd always have to be on guard. I don't want a guy to take advantage of me. I don't want a guy to hurt me. And just like not trusting that, that there would be a guy out there who would really want to please me or would really want to, give me the kind of life that I want and just the kind of love that I want. So I was just very guarded in my interactions with them. But I would say kind of through working with you, just recognizing that, men overall, like, they want to please women, they love women, like, they admire us, they think we're so beautiful, right? And as long as I set that, like, standard of, like, this is how I want to be treated, and not in, like, this pushy way, but just subtly, like, through my body language, let that be known. For the most part, they're going to rise to that level, and it feels great. Like, so now I feel like I enjoy being with men, whereas before I was always like, like, don't be a creep. I'm just like, I don't know what you're going to do, kind of thing, so.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I can totally see that. You're like so much more relaxed now.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yes, what was the result that you wanted, and did you get it?
Yeah. Okay, so I guess like the biggest thing, so again, like what I recognize in myself is like, okay, I have this goal, like I want to get married. I don't really know people around me who are married or have the kind of marriage that I want. I have no idea how to do this. I just need help. So I'm like, first of all, I want to become more confident in my value as a woman. I felt like a lot of women around me were in not great relationships. They weren't being treated well by men, and I didn't want to repeat that pattern. So that was like the biggest thing I would say. And just, so Leila has this whole thing about like princess treatment, which is kind of funny, but I would say like just, making sure that I was getting princess treatment on dates, just like really raised my value in like my own eyes. And even just, another thing is like taking time to like pamper myself, taking time to like connect with other women, really like raise my value of myself as a woman. And that's kind of like been like, I really think like the most important thing. Like, yeah, you also pushed me to get out on dates and stuff, but like that mindset shift about myself was like the biggest thing that's happened so far. So. Yeah.
So how would you explain this process and why, to someone who was in your mindset that you were in previously, how would you explain that to them, why they should take that?
Yeah, I think like it's easy to think that you can, like when you have a mental block, because a lot of this was just like mindset shifts for me. So it's easy to think that like when you have a mental block that you might know the answers. Like I have identified, like I have an issue with X, Y, Z, and this is the solution to X, Y, Z, but you're not enacting it in your life, So you can watch like countless YouTube videos, you can read so many articles, which I have done, but like it never clicks for me. And I've done like therapy and stuff as well, and I feel like with that, that's super great, but it's a little bit limited, I guess, because you see the person maybe like once or twice a week and you don't have that like ongoing relationship that you have with the coach. So I would say like with working with you, what's been really great is like, I'll send you like text message, like, real time, like this is what's going on, we call, we talk to one another, we have our video calls. And so it's like that energy exchange because it's just like, I can't even describe it, but that energy exchange is like the most important thing, the value of coaching. And I feel like you can be skeptical, you can feel like it's not worth it or I can solve it myself, but it's hard to really get that without interacting with another person.
So. Definitely, I agree. And it really is an energy exchange, isn't it? Because I'll be thinking about you just randomly and I'll call you because it's like, we're in this together. Yeah. I'm just as committed as you are.
Yeah. No, and it's like great because I feel like, like she's in my corner, like if I have like a weird date experience, like I'm going to tell you because you're going to be there for me kind of thing. And it's like nice. So you're like, we're buddies. Yeah. My relationship goals.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need, right? Yeah. And that's kind of why I have a niche to fill. Yeah. Is because we didn't, a lot of us, not all of us, didn't get all of that wisdom from previous generations that a lot of cultures, they do it a little better, or in past decades it's been done better. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I get to do my mothering.
Yeah, I'm like completely clueless, so she's been like super helpful.
Awesome. So, well, thank you. Yeah, that's really sweet what you say. So what's next for you?
All right, so yeah, I mean, so since working with Leila, she's been kicking my butt, making me go on dates and stuff, and like pamper myself and whatnot. And yeah, it's like the worst. Like she's like, go do your nails,
go to dinner and pool
I'm
parties.
like, why? So, but yeah, so when I first started working with her, she had me do this like intake, and I kind of just like assess like where I was in my life and like my stressors and things like that. And I remember I wrote like in all caps, like my number one stressor, my job, you know? And, I would express to her, like, I feel drained, I don't like it there. And she kind of just kept, like, pushing me, like, why are you still there? You said you have, like, these priorities, but you're spending all your time here. Like, it's not lining up. So I finally, I guess, got the confidence or like the bravery to leave my job and just kind of been reassessing other aspects of my life and just knowing that like the happier I am, the more likely I'm going to find the right guy for me. So just taking steps to create a life that really makes me happy in terms of what I do for work, my friendships, my relationships, and all of that. So,
yes, wonderful. So that's that magnetic energy that attracts the love and the relationships that you're looking for. Yeah, and I remember that was hilarious. And congratulations on quitting your job.
That was so scary.
I'm just about as happy as you are about that. And your mom told you that she was going to throw you a party.
Yeah.
For that job. Because
my mom was so tired of me complaining about it.
Awesome. So how does that feel to live more in alignment with your goals?
It feels like good, I feel like I trust myself more, whereas before it was a lot of fear of like, well, like my emotions can be signaling this, but I can't trust my emotions and I don't really know what I want. But just feeling like, no, my emotions are signaling something, they're telling me something, and I should be in tune with myself and I should listen to it.
I really am so grateful for this opportunity to help you and support you in your journey. And this is me living my best life. This is my passion to help women this way because I was able to achieve this transformation and I know anyone can. So I'm able to convey that confidence to my clients. So that's why I would love to meet with you as well and see where you want to be and let's get you there.
All right, so as I mentioned, I was super skeptical about hiring a coach because I just didn't really see what benefit it could add to my life. I felt like I sort of already knew all the relationship rules and I could figure it out on my own. But I think from working with Leila, she's really helped me to trust myself more. So one big thing that I struggled with, and I still do, but I've gotten a lot better, is trusting my own desires and my own emotions. So a lot of times I would say, talk to people and say, this is my standard or this is what I want. And I'd have them kind of question me or, try to get me to lower my standards. And I'd start to feel insecure about myself and about what I want in a man. And I'd talk to her, I'd text her, I'd call her, and she would say, that person, feel what you feel. Or sort of just getting me to realize that I should just, when I interact with people, if I'm asking for advice, to pose it as, okay, this is how I feel instead of these are my rules. And so if that person respects me, now they're being challenged. They can't tell me that I shouldn't feel the way that I feel. If they value me as a person, they have to accept that. So realizing that, I guess, when I'm asking for advice with people, just honoring my feelings and presenting it. She really lets you open up, express your secret desire. So my secret desire was I really wanted to get married. And that's something that I hid for the longest, but she made it okay for me to express that desire. She gave me hope that that's something that I could achieve even when I started to lose hope in myself. And so just that alone, that faith in me when I started to give up on my own goals was enough for me to kind of keep moving forward. So yeah, Leila's great and I would, wholeheartedly recommend her. Give her a call, get started.
So when I was 20 years old, I had no concept of my value. All through my teens, I had been lowering my value by not understanding what my value was as a woman. And at 20 years old, you would think that's the pinnacle, that's the peak of your, the height of your attractiveness and your fertility. And instead, I felt I had nothing to offer and I was, worth less than nothing. That I was actually a drag on a man. And that concept of myself, that low self-worth is what got me into a nightmare of a marriage And this man, he cheated on his wife with me, and he cheated on me to end my marriage to him. I had 2 children, thankfully. They're wonderful and beautiful, and they were the reason that I was able to pull out of this downward spiral. It seemed to be never ending, but I knew I couldn't give up because of them. So I just had to reframe my life around what would be a forever after generational shift. I couldn't just make it through the next day. I had to really change things. So nerding out on all of the books and all of the therapy, I knew all the information, and it really was a mindset shift that had to change. It took a while, and I had a coach and did all the things. So that's why I have that energetic confidence that I know that you can make that shift too. I know what it takes to get there, and we can do it together. So I'm with you for the long haul. I'm in it just as much of a commitment as you are to your happiness. And so I know what the other end of the light at the end of the tunnel looks like, and that looks like getting your dreams back that you had as a little girl, that I had, was that my Prince Charming would see me from across the room, and he wouldn't be able to take his eyes off me. He wouldn't leave my side for the rest of the night, let alone the rest of our lives. And so I was finally able to have that in my life at 39 years old, a couple of months before my 40th birthday, and the most wonderful man came along, and he could see the worth that I was like 90% of the way there, maybe. But he could see the rest of the way. And so he and I have both blossomed so much together, and you just can't imagine how much a true love like that can change your life until you have it. But you can see that it'll be better than the rock bottom and the bad treatment and the poor, what you're accepting that's low self-worth, what that will get you. You can at least see it'll be better than that. And then the love will take you the rest of the way there. So that's what I found with my husband, Derek, and I know that you can achieve that too. And so I would be just so honored if any of this story speaks to you, if any of the Daisy's story speaks to you, then let's have a conversation and talk about how much your life could change. So you've heard Daisy's transformation over just a few months of working with me and how far she's come. You can see the confidence and the radiance erupting from her. So if this is a transformation you want in your life, then we need to talk about Find Your King and Get the Ring.
You're welcome.